than an awesome possum. Dip my body in chocolate frosting. 3 years later, I shot the frosting. Smelling like a blossom, everything is awesome. Stepped in mud, got new brown shoes. It's awesome to win and it's awesome to lose. Awesome to lose.
Everything is better when we stick together. Side by side, you and I gonna win forever. Let's party forever. We're the same, I'm like you, you're like me. We're all working in harmony. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we're living our dreams.
Blue skies, bouncy springs. We just named 2 awesome things. A Nobel Prize, a piece of string. You know what's awesome? Everything. Dogs with fleas, allergies, a book of Greek antiquities, brand new pants, a very old vest. Awesome items are the best. Trees, drugs, clogs, they're awesome. Rocks, clocks, and socks, they're awesome. Figs and jigs and twigs, that's awesome. Everything you see or think or say is awesome.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of the team. Everything is awesome when we live our dream.
Good morning, everyone. And then you say, good morning, Mrs. Johnson. Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd pretend we were actually in assembly in the hall today because hopefully soon we will be. Yay, story time. I got 2 stories, but I'll keep my eye on the time. And if this one goes on a bit, we might not have to wait for the other one until next week. This one I have chosen because I am a fan of the author. I think this author is very, very clever because he not only writes books, but he's a comedian and he's on television a lot. And I just think he's very talented. And the book is Boogie Bear by David Walliams. Let's have a look. It's a really good story. I think you're going to enjoy it. Oh, and it's illustrated by somebody else that's very famous and has illustrated lots of stories. It's illustrated by Tony Ross. Boogie Bear. Up at the North Pole, polar bears were swimming, fishing, and, well, just growling, really. The biggest, furriest one of all was sunning herself on an iceberg. As usual. Oh, this is the life, she sighed as she drifted off to sleep. Sounds like my kind of day. Shh. Shh. Uh-oh. When the polar bear finally woke up, the most awful thing had happened. Look, can you see? The animal must have eaten too much for lunch because part of the iceberg that she was lying on had snapped off and floated away. Or had it? Those of us that are scientists might have a different answer for why the iceberg was smaller. Oh no, the polar bear was now miles away from home and being hurled around by the angry sea. Oh dear, she said as she wobbled, surfing a humongous wave. Wow, well that's a skill, isn't it? Surely things couldn't get any worse. They could. Much worse. As the polar bear was swept south, the sea became warmer. and warmer, melting the iceberg, which became smaller and smaller. Oh, look, she's on her tippy toes. Soon it was no bigger than an ice cube. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, said the polar bear as she toppled over into the sea. Splosh! I'm not sure what a polar bear would do in warm water. Bobbing her head up out of the water, the polar bear spied the nearest land was miles away. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. She did her best bear paddle towards it before collapsing on the rocks with waves crashing around her. And it says at the bottom, just in case you didn't know, bear paddle is like doggy paddle, but more beary, really. Oh, look at all that swimming she's done. Wow. Behind her, she heard a rustling in the forest. Rustle, 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 rustle. Rustle, 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 rustle. Oh no. The only thing more rustly would be someone called Russell. Russell rustling. Looking up, the polar bear saw hundreds of eyes staring back at her out of the gloom. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, she whispered to herself. Surely things couldn't get any more worse. Oh, they could. Much worse. Charge! Came a voice. Before the polar bear knew it, 100 brown furry creatures were stampeding towards her. Ah! They cried like soldiers running into battle. Get the Boogie monster! Bellowed the littlest one from the back. Oh, look at that. Petrifying. What's a Boogie monster? That is, shouted the big one with the floppy ears. I'm scared, said the one with the biggest, wettest nose. The brown bears had never seen a white bear before. Well, I don't suppose they would because they live in different parts of the world. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh very, very dear, said the poor polar bear, and she ran away into the forest as fast as she could. Well, it wasn't actually that fast, but at least she tried. Brown bears came from all sides, and soon the white bear had nowhere to run to. Ahead of her was the tallest tree in the forest, so she clambered all the way up to the top. It's impossible to clamber all the way up to the bottom, that's why. The tree swayed under her weight. The white bear clung on desperately as the brown bears circled around. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh very, very extremely dear, she said to herself. Oh, that tree doesn't look to me like it's going to hold her for much longer. Get the Boogie monster! Shouted the small one, baring his sharp teeth. Can you bare your sharp teeth? Can someone else do it? It's scary, whined the one with the biggest, wettest nose. Ooh, I think they might be scared of the polar bear. Oh, I'm not scary, shouted the polar bear. Oh, yes, you are, said the little one. Your fur's a funny colour. Well, I think your fur is a funny colour. Well, that enraged him. Get up there, he ordered. No, I'm scared of heights, replied the one with the biggest, wettest nose. It's not very kind, is it? It's a bit rude to say they don't like her because she's got different colour fur. Well, the smallest one huffed and picked up a stick as big as he was. He hurled it at the polar bear. Take that, Boogie monster! Whoosh! Dush! Biff! Ouch! Called out the polar bear. She lost her grip and slid down the tree at great speed. Whoosh! Uh-oh. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, she muttered to herself as her big furry bottom hit each branch on the way down until she hit a big bendy branch and it bounced her right back up to the top of the tree. Surely things couldn't get any worse. But oh, they could. Much worse. Poor polar bear's having a terrible day. Well, as the polar bear was so heavy, the tree buckled to one side and the pack of brown bears reached up with their paws and grabbed the trunk. Get the boogie monster, ordered the little one. That little brown bear is really not very kind. The brown bears lost their grip on the trunk and the tree twanged back up. Twang, twang. Oh, look, polar bear's hanging on tight. Oh. Oh, dear, screamed the polar bear as she soared through the air. Oh, look, it's a flying boogie monster, remarked the one with the biggest, wettest nose. Now, polar bears are not natural flyers. None have wings or own jetpacks or even can pilot helicopters. If you think you've seen a polar bear flying a helicopter, please consult a doctor. In no time, the poor animal had crash-landed headfirst into a huge, muddy puddle. Splat! Oh, poor polar bear. Let's get the boogie monster, shouted the littlest one. Oh dear, said the polar bear as she stood up, caked in mud. The polar bear wasn't white anymore. Stop! It's not a boogie monster. It's a bear, exclaimed with the one with the biggest, wettest nose. It's a boogie bear, shouted the littlest one. A huge smile spread across the face of the one with the floppy ears. She's not a boogie anything. She's gorgeous. Boring, fumed the littlest one. Miss, we're so sorry for frightening you, said the one with the floppy ears, stepping forward. In truth, we were frightened. Here, you see, all us bears are brown. And there, all us bears are white, she said, pointing north. I love your white fur, said the brown bear, checking out the white bear's big furry bottom. I love your brown fur, said the white bear, checking out the brown bear's big furry bottom. Yuckety yuck, yuck, exclaimed the littlest one. I think they're falling in love. The pair rubbed noses. Ah. In a show of love, the birds in the trees tweeted sweet music, butterflies swooped and twirled, and, as if that wasn't enough, a rainbow appeared in the sky. From that day on, the two love-struck bears spent all their days and nights together. Ah, can everyone say, ah? The white bear had never eaten honey before, which she loved. The brown bear had never eaten walrus before, which he pretended to love. I wouldn't recommend eating walrus. You have to smother it with tomato ketchup to make it taste nice. So the pair hibernated for winter, cuddled up together in a hollowed-out tree. Things couldn't get any better. But they could get much better. That spring, the polar bear had a litter of beautiful bear cubs. Their fur came in lots of different shades of white and brown. No matter, their mummy and daddy loved them all the same. Gosh, what a lot of cubs. Oh, how cute is that? I'm so glad that it worked out well in the end. This really is the life, sighed the white bear. It certainly is, my love, replied the brown bear. I'm so glad they got over the fact that they didn't all look the same and that it didn't matter. And then they fell in love. Oh, isn't that so lovely? Now, I think you might be lucky. I've got one more story. It's a really good one. Today's story, the next one, is called Izzy Gizmo and the Invention Convention. Because this week, in that exciting science morning we had in reception, we were inventors. And we invented some amazing machines. We had getter-uppers, we had tidying up machines, we had ice cream inventing machines. There were machines designed for everything in reception. It was really clever. So Izzy Gizmo and Fixer were making a racket, inventing a so-so to fix Grandpa's jacket when ding, dang, dong, doink went the bell on the door and a golden note fluttered down onto the floor. What could it be? Ms. Gizmo, we've heard you're a whiz with invention, so you must come to our annual convention. Arrive Thursday at noon. I do hope you're free. Sincerely, Mick Marvel. Please RSVP. That means she's got to let them know she's coming. Izzy gasped as the so-so started to jerk. Me? My machines? Well, they don't always work. Ha! Cobblers, said Grandpa. So the very next day, Izzy packed up her tools and they went on their way. Wow, look at all her cool inventions. Over fields, hills and waves, they went mile after mile. Wow, I love how she's got bottles on the side of her boat to help it float. That's a great idea. Technoff Isle. Oh, they've reached the isle called Technoff. Look at that. Whoa. Very super cool. It's made like a fish, a robotic fish. Welcome, inventors. Now, meet the professor. She wants you to make a machine to impress her. If you come first with the thing that you build, we'll give you a badge to the Genius Guild. Izzy Gizmo, we'll dig Maximilian Spout. Please reply here when you hear your name called out. Here. Abby Von Lavish and Gillian Din. Everyone's here. Very good. Let's begin. Abby Von Lavish's bench was pristine. She was already building a shiny machine. This thing's going to make heaps of sparkling jewels. Oh dear, tell me, Izzy, are those things your tools? Oh, poor Izzy. Come on, Fixer, said Izzy. This couldn't be finer. It'll soon be a robotic fashion designer. It'll be so impressive, the magnified style. But we need some supplies. I'll be back in a while. Izzy dashed to the cog store. But to her despair, Abby Von Lavish was already there. Ooh, oh no. Izzy rushed to the wire shed and looked on the shelf, but Abby said, sorry, I need these myself. Fixer flew off to fetch fan belts and wheels. Too late, Abby smirked as she turned on her heels. I must get to work on my awesome design by this time tomorrow. That badge will be mine. Ooh, I'm not sure I like this Abby Von Lavish. Oh, what now? Izzy groaned. What else can we make? A big baker copter for delivering cake, a nighttime ariser for turning off lights, or an autonomous stretcher for pulling up kites. Oh, Izzy, smiled Grandpa. Great inventors produce machines which can really be put to good use. Oh, you're right, Izzy sighed. From behind came a conk. Oh, my drill's bust, called Abby. Take it out with the junk. Are all these tools broken? Izzy gawped in dismay. You could mend them. You don't have to throw them away. Yeah, reuse and recycle. Suddenly, ping! Izzy had an idea. Quick, Fixer, she cried. Bring those tools over here. We'll make an invention to fix up this lot. We might not have much, but we'll use what we've got. They both worked like crazy all round the night and finally finished the thing at first light. I do hope it works. It was quite problematic, presenting the tool fix recycle-o-matic. Let's test it, said Izzy. She flicked the on switch. What a genius idea. But oh dear, the contraption did nothing but twitch. Like that, twitching. Oh no! Ah! I've been wiring these plugs up for an hour, but Abby Von Lavish has sapped all the power. Now look, this thingamajig's on the blink. We have to do something. Come on, Fixer. Think. Yeah, don't give up. Don't give up. Fixer flew to the door, gave his wings a good flap, and knocked on the glass with his beak. Tippity-tap! Izzy got mad. Fixer, why aren't you helping? There's so much to fix. You're just cawing and yelping. Fine, go and play. You're no use, Izzy cried. She opened the door and sent Fixer outside. Oh, poor Fixer. Izzy, Grandpa said, yes, you have things to mend and you need to find power, but where is your friend? Are you certain that Fixer just wanted to play? Go and look, you might see what he was trying to say. Izzy watched and remembered, feeling quite proud, how she'd made Fixer's wings when he fell from a cloud. He was soaring and splashing just like a bird should. Well, finally, suddenly, she understood. Let's see. Oh, Fixer, I'm sorry. We can do it. We must. There are just a few things that we need to adjust. They used a glass dome and some paddles and pipes and planks, pins and panels of various types. I love that, using all sorts of objects around. It's noon, said Mick Marvel. You know what that means, inventors. It's time to start up your machines. Ignoring the thump of her heart in her chest, Izzy pressed start and then hoped for the best. As Will's Optilogger was starting to wheeze, can you see there? Uh-oh, it's not working properly. Izzy and Fixer were harnessing his breeze. Look at that. So they're using, harnessing means they're using it. While fuses were blowing on Abby's Gem Master, Fixer tip-tapped to make the wheel go faster. While Gillian's drums all fell off one by one, Izzy's machine was being powered by the sun. And while Mick consoled Maximilian's spout, Izzy cheered as the shiny fixed tools all popped out. Yay, her machine worked! Toot toot! You've won first prize, Izzy, the professor declared. Oh, just look at all these tools that you've repaired. I see a really useful invention. Such a useful machine, so well thought through, deserves just one badge. Not just one badge, but certainly 2. Wow. That's amazing. So she won first prize after all. She went through all those difficult things, got it wrong, it didn't work, people were mean to her. But did she give up? No, she didn't. And you must never give up too. Keep using building those learning powers. See you next week. Have a lovely lunchtime. Bye.
Hi, my name's Joe. Got a wife and 3 kids and I work in a button factory. One day, the boss came to me, said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. He said, turn that button with your right hand. Hi, name's Joe. Got a wife and 3 kids and I work in a button factory. One day, the boss came to me, said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. He said, turn that button with your left hand. Hi, name's Joe. Got a wife and 3 kids and I work in a button factory. One day, the boss came to me, said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. He said, turn that button with your right foot. Hi, the name's Joe. Got a wife and 3 kids and I work in a button factory. One day, the boss came to me, said, Joe, are you busy? I said, no. He said, turn that button with your left foot. Hi, the name's Joe.